Welcome, spies and super soldiers, to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast, brought to you by Anchor. My name is Dylan. My co-host Akram is here. What's going on, Akram?
What's up, Dylan? How are you? It's been a long time, huh?
Yeah, man, we haven't recorded in a minute. Feels like forever.
Yep, feels good to be back.
Yeah, I'm good. It's good to talk about new releases again after being house arrested for a whole year. And Black Widow is a great summer blockbuster to bring us all back from this movie depression.
I agree. It's been a while. I feel so weird. I mean, we've been not saturated, but at least we got a good handful of Marvel shows that came out and will come out, you know, and we got Shang-Chi to see in the future. So it's good to see Marvel, you know, making a comeback with films.
Yeah, man, I agree. I mean, there's things we're going to talk about. Black Widow. Overall, I enjoyed it, but, you know, I'm going to be a little critical about it.
Me as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good movie to bring us, you know, like I said, out of, you know, the time of like being, I mean, we did have like the Marvel shows, of course, and I loved all of them, but, you know, it's just, I missed the experience of having to go back into a theater and watch like a movie, you know?
Right. I completely agree. I, however, didn't go to see this movie in a theater like many, I guess, have in the recently. I actually went to see it in a Disney Plus Premium, $30 you have to pay. Atop
That's crazy. I paid like $28, so I might as well have Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean, I just myself, I don't feel as comfortable to see like movies yet, like in theaters, stuff like, or like in crowded places, especially with what's going on now. But it's, you get to keep the film at least. Like I rented a long time ago, Mulan. Actually, I've been a bad boy because I rented Mulan and then, what's that other movie with, what's her name? I forgot now. Emma.
Oh, Cruella.
Yeah, Cruella. Yeah. I got that movie and now I have this. So I don't know, but each is $30. Not as bad though. You get to basically unlimited watches on it.
Personally, I think it's overpriced for I mean, if you're already paying a subscription, I mean, they should cut it down to at least like $12 or something, you know, that's just my opinion, but.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I guess if they did that, they would raise the price for the subscription service. Mm-hmm. So I agree, but at the same time, too, I mean, back then when I used to go see a Marvel movie, I would see it in IMAX and I would see it like with a couple of people, and I would usually pay. And I oh my god, like I would spend like at least $80. So I don't mind just to pay the $30 and just keep it, and I could watch it whenever. I guess that's the best part from it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's a great economic tactic on Disney's part because collectively between Disney and the theaters, they've made over like what $25 million
wow,
like worldwide.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was a good option for the time we were in, of course, because, you know, being home, it just made sense with all the new streaming platforms. So. But like I said, I enjoyed actually experiencing it in the theater. I went with my friend Matt. It was a packed theater.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it's a Marvel movie. So, of course, everybody's going to show up.
With COVID, though, no restrictions now, huh?
Yeah, man. Well, you know, everything's getting lifted now. I mean, I know a lot of theaters are still choosing not to open up, which is understandable. But, I mean, I'm fine, you know, going out and experience it. But what were your overall thoughts?
You know, it's funny because it reminds me of like we had a throwback episode too that you guys could check out, and it's funny that this reminds me so much of one of those early 2000 movies where like it's kind of one and done, and in a way it is one and done because Black Widow is obviously dead in Endgame. So I find it unusual, right? And I wasn't as satisfied as I thought I might have been because we had so many delays, but I still thought the whole experience was, it was all right. You know what I mean? It wasn't like something that blew me out of the water. It wasn't like a Winter Soldier or something like that, but I enjoyed it somewhat. How about yourself?
Well, that's funny that you say that because okay, well, let me talk about things I liked. So I did enjoy the intro. Of course, you know, whenever I see the Marvel title screen, I get hyped for that. And then I did like how they introduced Nat's past, and just seeing that whole credit screen roll of just like, the visuals and the credits, and then you just like see everything that she went through the Red Room program. It's a lot like watching like a Bourne film,
Yeah, right.
You like, like that Project Treadstone kind of aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish they would have delved a little bit more into like her and Yelena's past. I feel like we only got like just a glimpse of it. I really wanted to like experience like her pain that she went through, The other things I liked, I did enjoy Scarlett's acting. The whole cast is great, obviously. I mean, David Harbour, he really brings that comedic aspect to the film. Rachel Weiss. It's funny because like she's coming back in like so many movies, and I remember just watching her in The Mummy.
Yeah, she's been everywhere, and I just love her as an actress.
Yeah, definitely. Florence Pugh was awesome as Yelena. I think she was a great supporting actress.
She's making it big now. Yeah, she got
really nailed that Russian accent too.
Yeah. Yeah, not too many people can do that. I think Scarlett's problem was that she probably couldn't have done it like continuously for years. So she nailed it.
It would have felt weird. It would have felt like a Princess Leia thing where it's like the accent like drops off over time.
Right.
Yeah, I did enjoy the action. Obviously it's a big film and there's going to be a lot of fight scenes. I don't know how you felt about it, because I didn't really feel like there was too much shaky cam, like especially with the Taskmaster fights.
No, it's not shaky cam. What the problem is, it's over edited, right? And sometimes when you over edit something, that's because you're trying to hide a lack of choreography or a lack of smoothness. So I'm surprised, because Marvel has a great fight team, a stunt team. They have a great stunt team. So I'm surprised that we didn't see like this diehard, like just like that hallway scene in Daredevil, or just like in Winter Soldier, those type of like, let us see the whole spectacle in front of us. Right. I never liked that like quick cut edit. It works for some moments. Right. It works actually when people are staying still. So you could put in some suspense. But with this, it was just like, I wasn't a big fan of how they edited. I really wanted to see, because this is the last thing we're going to see from Black Widow, last movie, really. So I really wanted to get a full picture. But mind you, it is an experience, and they did have great giant set pieces that I really appreciated from this film, because I thought it was gonna be like a really close knit type of movie. But as we see from the trailers anyway, everyone knew this is gonna be like a globe trotting adventure, and it's gonna be huge. I agree with you too. I wish that we seen more of Florence and Scarlett's dichotomy, and more of like just that nuance that they would have, or I would imagine they had, since were separated from their families and grown up in
they have very good sisterly chemistry together, like on screen. I just wish I would have seen it more like, like from the childhood aspect of it.
Yeah, I guess now the thing is like I think they were separated, right? Since they were in that cargo shipment container, and I think they were separated and they never seen each other ever again. Am I mistaken in that? Or have they like been working with each other since adults? And then Black Widow did that thing.
From what I understood from the movie, so they probably had to go through numerous tests before they evaluated whether they were like potential candidates for this Red Room program. So I'm sure eventually they got separated, but I mean, of course they were like together in the beginning.
Yeah. And a little fun fact is the actress who plays Natasha's character in the beginning is actually Mila Jojovich's daughter. So
really?
I knew I recognized her from somewhere, because she was also in the Resident Evil movie as well.
That's crazy.
The last one, the final chapter. Yeah. So that's the daughter. I love like what they did with her hair, because there's like little things that you could pick out. I guess it wouldn't be considered a semiotics, but I just like that she has blue hair. A lot of people will probably say, oh, like why, that's just a random thing. But I just like it because she has that character, she's more wild, I guess, in her mind, or just she's outside of the box than everyone else.
She's
and
a very independent character,
Yeah. And that makes sense because she broke off from the Red Room program, basically. So, right. And I love Florence. I could imagine her taking over with her own series. I think in the comics, correct me if I'm wrong, her name or her code name is Tarantula. Am I correct in that?
I'm not too familiar with Black Widow comics, so
okay, because I think that's I'm pretty sure that
I know there is a character named Tarantula in Marvel, but he's a Spider-Man villain. So
yes, I actually seen Tarantula in Spider-Geddon, actually, with Miles Morales and the PS4 Spider-Man. He made an appearance there, but Tarantula, I think she goes under that moniker as well. And I don't know. I hope that I like her as a character. And she did that, which I thought was cute. She did that like pose, when she mentioned she actually did it, whatever. And that to me, that to me was kind of like a semiotic showcase right there, where like, okay, this is going to be the new spy that we need in the Avengers or something like that, or even like the Dark Avengers. A lot of people are saying, oh, Marvel's alluding to that. I don't know. Thunderbolts, we'll see. So, but yeah, and I love David Haber, right?
Harbour.
David Haber is actually the voice actor from Solid Snake. So yeah, I like this character a lot. I like the costume too. I really do. I really dig, man. They have the best like costume designers ever. Andy Park and Ryan Minderling. They're like so good at designing just concepts for these suits. But I just really liked his rendition. And I like the tattoos too. That's such like a gulag Russian thing too at the end. I just love that. And it really reminded me of the Americans too, because they were like which one gripe I must have, if anyone's familiar with Family Guy, you know what grinds my gears is that basically like, how come that they all had like these nice ass American accents in the beginning and all of a sudden they just drop it? Like you would think that they would stick with it because it was like perfect American accent. And then all of a sudden like, oh, now we can't do it anymore. I
guess that's how good agents they are. They just can copy American accents like that. Like,
and that's scary then. Yeah, that's I like that. I had fun with the movie. It was a fun movie. And that's what I wanted from it. There's some things that we'll probably discuss later that we both don't like. A little hint, big body ass, but that's just a little hint for you guys. But other than that, it's a fun movie. Is it like the best Marvel movie out there? Obviously, no. A lot of people say that Marvel peaked in Infinity War or Endgame, that's their peak. I doubt that, actually. I kind of find it like a waveform. Like there's some good, some bad, some in the middle. This is probably one of those forgettable movies for me, at least at the moment, because I'm thinking it'll be a lot like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I completely forgot about that. Or Incredible Hulk. It's like one of those movies, right? But does it match that? Does it meet the criteria for a Marvel movie? Yes, I think so. I just wish they released it after Civil War. I think that would have made more sense. It was a little bit awkward just to release it now. It's like this long shadow, as IGN has wrote in a review, is long shadow casted from her death.
I feel like, with all the delays, they could have like, really like fleshed out more, like maybe add like a couple more scenes, like I said, like that could have really made it stand out. For me, it feels too much like Winter Soldier. I don't know how you feel about it, but it feels like a carbon copy of Winter Soldier in its own way.
I agree and disagree. I could see why. I mean, yeah, that does make sense. I think out of all, what's funny is Taskmaster reminds me a lot of Winter Soldier.
That's the thing.
It's like character.
It's like, okay, so you have this plot, right? You have the main person, right? Nat, she's obviously like the cap in this situation,
right?
And then Yelena is like her Scarlet Witch, and then she's trying to bring this. She's trying to bring this organization down, and they're being hunted by this master assassin who you don't really know until the last minute. So it just feels like, I'm just like rewatching. It's like kind of formulaic in a way. I mean, it's not terrible, but I don't know. It just takes away from what I wanted Scarlet to have her own story, True. And I mean, just the care, like if they didn't do that thing, I guess we're going to go into spoilers pretty soon, so beware. But like if they didn't do that thing with Taskmaster, right? See, like there's two things you could have done with Taskmaster, which I'm not going to spoil yet. I'm going to leave it to you to spoil who it was. But there's two things you could have did with Taskmaster. Okay. Number one, you could have just made Taskmaster a mercenary. That's it. Mercenary, has the personality of Taskmaster, and then he just like, goes away at some point. That's fine because he could show up, like, let's say Shang-Chi, Abomination has Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi has Abomination, right? So they could have did something like that. Or two,
which now is going to spoiler territory. They could have had more of a feminine version of Taskmaster with that personality that we all love from the comics, right? Spider-Man, the game, did it well. Could have had that, and I would have been fine with it. Yeah, it's gender swap, but that's okay with me. Like, as long as it's the essence, and I don't want some bullshit saying, "Oh, well, we're all Taskmaster," and then like bringing another Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Okay, he did that with the Mandarin, okay, and now you're rectifying your mistake.
Too ideological. It's like, yeah, that doesn't fit for his character.
What do you think of the twist? So you spoiled it for us.
So
now.
yeah, let's just talk about Taskmaster, because I know a lot of people are talking about it right now. So
That's the big thing, yeah.
So spoiler alert for anybody who didn't watch it, but okay, so we get Taskmaster, and he's, or she, I guess, is awesome. From the moment we see her in the beginning, and she's doing that whole like studying, like, you know, all the Avengers moves. Yeah. And that makes sense. I like that because it's like comic continuity. You know, Taskmaster in the comics, his, I guess, superpower was that he could copy like any like Avengers moves and then like make it better, I guess. Kind of like
photographic memory.
Yeah, like photographic memory. Kind of like Deathstroke in a way. Mm-hmm. So, and for the most of the movie, she's really silent. And I do like that about that, because it makes it terrifying. And, you know, I think a lot of that transferred from Winter Soldier, because in the beginning, Winter Soldier doesn't even talk that much until like Steve comes up. So I do like that, like, cold, heartless, like assassin kind of aspect. And I don't know how you felt about the fights, but I did like how like her and Scarlet were like going back and forth, and then she was kind of like copying like that weird move where like she does like the over the leg thing and then like twists a bit
on the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a good fight. Yeah, that was a great fight. Mm-hmm. I like that. I'm just saying certain aspects were like too highly edited. Yeah, that was a great fight. That was really good.
I think the part with the tank was a bit much.
I know. Where's Dominic Toretto?
Yeah, right. He's like driving the tank the whole time. I'm mad because she fucking drifted that tank, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck is this Tokyo Drift? Like, how you drift a whole assault vehicle like that?" But yeah, I mean, like overall, I enjoyed like the character until like the, you know, okay, so the final moments of the movie. So it's revealed that Taskmaster is the daughter of the main villain, played by Ray Winstone, who actually, by the way, was in The Departed.
Our little inside jokes come for The Departed.
He was Arnold, the Enforcer guy. Right. I love him. Yeah. He always plays great villains.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so he's Draco in the movie, right?
Dracoff. Yeah, I keep calling him Jerkoff because he's just a fucking asshole in the movie. But yeah, so they mentioned in Avengers Budapest, which was like a thing between like Clint and Nat. Right. So we always wondered like what happened in Budapest. So basically,
I still don't know what happened there though. What happened? So
it's, yeah, they kind of like just show it for like a glimpse moment first. So basically, Nat got out of the Red Room by killing Dracoff. That was her way out, and her defection to S.H.I.E.L.D. because Dracoff was like the head honcho of the Red Room, basically. And I think we saw him in the beginning too when they're turned over to the kids.
Right.
So she's like, okay, the only way I'm getting out of here is if I kill him, which makes sense. So we get like a scene like it happened like years ago, and she's outside this building, and Dracoff's daughter is there, and she's going inside, and then basically like she was collateral damage for her to checkmate Dracoff. So building explodes, and then we assume that she dies. Come to find out that doesn't happen. And it made me mad too, because like she says in the movie, like Dracoff, there was nothing left to verify his death, but he looks fine as fuck in the movie. Like,
yeah, that was weird.
Like the daughter got the worst of it.
Yeah, they held no punches with that. I'm surprised. Like she really did bad, and she knew it. She was like, oh, she's just in the way, basically.
Right.
It got dark.
Yeah, it was really dark. But yeah, so the reveal was that Taskmaster was the daughter of Dracoff. So some people are kind of like annoyed about it because they kind of wanted, you know, like a comic reminiscent version of Taskmaster, which I agree.
I did, yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't a terrible choice, but I just wanted Taskmaster to not be a throwaway villain like every other fucking villain that they do in Marvel, you know? Like,
I think so. I think that's the case.
I kind of wanted
that.
like a mystery around Taskmaster, like who kind of like Slade in Teen Titans. Like we never know, like we know who he is, but we don't know who's underneath the mask. I kind of wanted that, or like, you know, maybe like a cliffhanger for like Taskmaster, but like maybe she escapes and then like we don't know like if she's like really turned or she's still gonna do like mercenary work. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, picture this. Imagine like they didn't reveal the identity and Taskmaster just went away at some point, right? But we get the identity later and like some film that has sword in it. And apparently, you know, what's under the mask, that person that basically is training some sword agents or whatever, all this time was actually Taskmaster infiltrating. So they could have did something like that. And like, oh, it's Taskmaster, you know, something like that. But instead we got the actress name is Olga. Pardon me, because I can't remember the last name, but Olga, she's a model too. She's gorgeous. So here it's so funny that they like completely messed her up. Big body ass.
See,
because I hated how she looked
you
like
big
that.
mad, yo. It's probably the armor. That's why she looks so fucking muscular.
Please. Okay, listen. Spartans from the Halo series, right? The women have feminine bodies. So like why they couldn't do this here? Like I wouldn't have mine. I still wouldn't.
You watch like Red versus Blue, like Tech. She's like muscular as fuck.
Okay, so but still, like it's her head is so tiny compared to her whole body. It was so funny.
I mean, like, okay, this is probably like going too much to justify it, but you could probably say like maybe she underwent like, you know, biometric like treatments to make her like more efficient killer.
Oh, please. That's basically called plot armor, my friend. That's basically saying, let's throw this twist at the audience. And everyone thought it's a guy, which I didn't. I thought all this time it was Florence Pugh characters all this time. Like, but then when the movies played, I was like, oh shit, no, it's not.
I will admit it was kind of weird, like seeing her like go from like 6 foot to like 5 foot at the end of the movie.
The like, body, man. It's just like, it doesn't matter unless, like I told you earlier,
Ant-Man is like behind the mask the whole time.
I tried to tell him earlier. We were talking about this earlier. I was trying to tell him they should have put her with like some like a pair of Dickies pants and like some Timberlands. At least like it'll make sense. Oh, she's trying to hide it or whatever. That's not a guy or whatever.
Hey, at least they didn't do a Logan where like did she take the mask off and it's a Scarlet clone underneath or some shit. That would have been stupid. I would have hated that. I would have been like, I would have left them out of theater. I would have been like, no, fuck that shit.
That's so funny because I was just gonna mention that that reminds me, like I was so disappointed with that reminded me of X-Men Origins Wolverine, where everyone's disappointed about Deadpool and everyone's disappointed about Taskmaster, this cool ass character. And it's so funny that Deadpool, Taskmaster, and Slade all have this resemblance.
It's always the fucking good characters that we love. They always do that. Yeah. They hype them up so much. We love them, and then like when you finally like giving them depth, it fucking ruins it. I hate it. And you see, here's the thing, because Olga was in a couple of action movies that I haven't watched, though, mind you, but she was in a couple of action movies. So I trust in Marvel's casting. So I guess that played a factor into why they casted her. And I guess, you know, we'll see later, like she's a scarred soul, maybe. Like if she had more time in the spotlight, we'll see. Oh, yeah, she actually has a pretty cool personality, but she's a badass. And one thing I hated, too, was that she's a cyborg, because Taskmaster isn't a cyborg. So here I was like, oh, man, completely wasted. But there's room for improvement. At the same time, it is kind of stupid to like have your superpower and be like photogenic memory. Well, I mean, still though, I mean, if you're a good fighter, you're good. I mean, whatever. I mean, that person, I would think will made a lot more sense. Like a Marvel twist. Well, in reality, I would consider it as this person has OCD, right? So there's real life implications into this character. This person is neurotic, maybe just like constantly obsessing over how people move, maybe pay attention to all the details, you know. So you could play with those aspects, and I would definitely relate to it, and I would say, oh yeah, that's really realistic. But the cyborg thing, just cause, like everything was just like, oh, just cause we want to surprise the hell out of everyone. Who would you make Taskmaster? And don't say fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme or some shit. Oh, like the actor? Yeah. You know what's funny? And maybe you guys will hate me in this, but I honestly could pick anyone. But I feel like Scott Eastwood, right? Because Taskmaster, I don't feel like you need like some like top-notch actor. I'm not saying he's not a top-notch actor, but I could always picture, for some reason, I always pictured him, especially from the Marvel's Avengers tie-in comic books, Taskmaster. His face was shown, and it kind of reminded me of Scott Eastwood. So I'd say probably will pick Scott Eastwood. He has a great personality, like in just in real life. What movies was he in? So the Fast and Furious franchise. He was in the one with Kurt Russell. He was in Pacific Rim.
the newest, what was it? What was that called? Pacific Rim Uprising?
Uprising.
Yeah, he was in that. So he was in a couple other movies. A lot of people want him. A lot of people do want him to be in like in a remake of one of his dad's, Clint Eastwood's films. So, but I would pick him. Who would you pick? And don't say Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Steven Seagal. No.
Steven Seagal. Great choice.
I don't know. I mean, I see Taskmaster as kind of like in the comics as like that cocky kind of like bravado character. But someone who obviously has like that kind of like mask, like military energy. I want to say like Scott. What's the dude from
Eastwood?
No, the dude
Scott
from
Pilgrim.
Shut the fuck up. Who's the dude from Avatar? The dude who played
Sam Witwer. Yeah, that's a good choice.
No, not
too.
Sam Witwer.
Oh no, okay, but I
the
like
dude
that
who
choice.
played the general in the mech suit.
But he's old though now. I don't know.
So, I mean,
something Lang.
Was it Scott Lang or something? I forgot.
Not Scott. Something Lang.
Yeah. Or Stephen Lang. Maybe that's it. I forgot. I could see.
Probably.
There's a lot of choices you could pick for Taskmaster, but I don't know. I think anything would have been a lot better than what we got.
Again, now if they work with it later on and like people gave it a chance and somehow Taskmaster showed up, I don't see Taskmaster like, oh, let's give Taskmaster a lot more screen time and different Marvel films, right? It wouldn't match. But then again, we got Abomination and Shang-Chi. So you never know. And you have plenty of Disney Plus shows that I think actually my personal theory is Disney Plus will lead the future for Marvel in general, Marvel Studios. So I got a feeling maybe because there's so much you could do. Now people don't have long-term contracts, right? So you could basically throw in a character there and like, let's just pay you for this time, right? And hey, do you want to join back again? Okay, sure. Let's pay you for this time again. They could do something like that. We just got to give it a chance, I guess. But at the moment right now, it wasn't the best way. They showed off that Olga is Taskmaster, I believe. It was very cliche. They fell into a lot of formulaic, like you said earlier, tropes. So I didn't appreciate that, especially for a film that should be actually super important, because not only haven't we had a Marvel film in a long time, but it's Black Widow's movie, right? We finally got a Black Widow movie. And I don't know. I didn't expect it to be kind of disappointing. And the pacing, there was a big issue with the pacing from the whole thing. It was just like, we're action. All right, let's slow the way down and do jokes.
The pacing would kind of like, it fell off for me. I don't know. I could see it work as a Marvel TV show. How do you feel about that?
Now, my thing is,
show,
I guess
you could flesh a lot more. Like you could show more of, Yelena and Nat. With their training, what they went through. So it doesn't feel too much like Winter Soldier because it feels like all packed in one plot. You could show like, what was the mom's name? Melina. Yes. Like the conflict she's going through. Like, is this right? Like what we're doing? Is this, good for the world? And you can see why fucking Red Guardian went to jail because they never really explained that.
Right. Going off of that, I mean, we needed more time for ethos and pathos for the characters. And I think when you have bad pacing, you don't get to see that duality of a person that's bad trying to be good. You don't really see that. So I agree. I think a show would be interesting now. However, I would not like them to do something where we got this movie, because that's what Resident Evil Into the Dark. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm sorry. I got to catch up on that. It's only like 4 freaking episodes, right? But like, that's a freaking movie, right? That's a movie on Netflix. Basically, it's like, let's just cut it up just to fuck with everybody. So I hope that they don't. I wouldn't want them to do that for Black Widow. I that's like the Hateful Eight. Like, I don't understand why they cut it up, because the Hateful Eight isn't like a huge ass movie. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like, it's 3 hours and 30 minutes. It's like, you could just put the whole thing and we could watch
Falcon and Winter Soldier, they only had like 6 episodes that were like,
but that's fine, right?
They made that work.
But that's what I'm saying. That's made for TV, right? Whereas this is made just to be a film. So the plot structure will be different. And the writer for Falcon and Winter Soldier explained it as well. When you're writing for a TV show, it's kind of like a clock, right? And you're going around to your main points eventually. And you got story beats to add subplots, right? Here, it's like, we got the main point and we're going to do this adventure. And so will it work? Would it have worked? Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I feel like for Black Widow, like her story, it doesn't feel like an adventure to me. It feels like a political thriller. And that's why I want it to see as like a series.
Well,
you
it is
can
a political
see.
thriller. It's kind of like you said, like it's kind of like the Bourne series, let's go here, whatever. But it's still centered around politics. Well, I guess not really, not even closely resembling Russian politics, but it's that as whenever you have espionage, it has something to do with politics, right? This reminded me like, I guess you would consider it as a bad version of James Bond, where there's less gadgets but there is this shady organization in the back, and he's meeting these characters. So
I feel like
these characters.
they should have like pushed the theme more of like like human trafficking and like the shit that happens to like women like globally, instead of like focusing too much on like like spies and like Russian politics and shit. Because then it feels like Winter Soldier to me. I don't know.
Well, this wasn't heavy on theme, to be honest with you. I felt like.
Well, that's why I wish it would.
Well,
push
honestly,
more on a theme.
Honestly, the theme, which will surprise people a lot, is really about family. It's not even, that was the main thing. It was just it was about family, right? And I'm like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? Because she, like, how long have they been with Red Guardian? I forgot his other name.
Well, they said like 3 years they were all together.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's not really a family. I mean, they had their best memories there though, so that's what counts. And so that's the theme, and that's the driving point for them to get back together, is those memories, right? But I didn't feel like it was that strong anyway. Like, we could have seen more. So I don't know. It's like, it's not a sloppy movie, but they misunderstood the direction they were supposed to go to when they had that type of theme. And they also misunderstood like just pacing. Again, once you mess up pacing, everything goes downhill, because you miss out on a lot of great moments that should have been longer. So, and some moments should have been cut short. Like there was some like long moments where it's just like joking. And a lot of people had issues with the jokes. I found it funny. I mean,
it can't be a Marvel movie without, the jokes. That's what makes it.
Yeah, that was funny to me. I feel
like they too much talked about the Avengers too much. I'm like, okay, we get it. She's an Avenger. Like, let's move on.
Well, no, I love that. See, here's the thing though, because we don't really get to see that except in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I guess a little bit of Iron Man, just as personality in general. They talk about her in magazines and stuff, and what's her name? Yelena mentioned that thing about basically Black Widow's kind of like a hypocrite, right? And she's like killed people in the past, but at least Yelena doesn't hide it. Whereas little girls will try to emulate Black Widow. Right. So I like that. That's another theme they could have done. You could have multiple themes, but they just like threw it in the trash. They just mentioned stuff, right? That's the problem with pacing. Everything's going too fast and you're leaving leeway for like stupid things later on in the film that you just like linger on, and they could have just slowed down a little bit in those story beats, you know what I mean? And really do a character study of Natasha, right? Not Black Widow. Do a character study of Natasha and how broken she is and how she found her family in Avengers and how she's finding her old family with, the OG crew from 1980. But
I mean, they kind of show that in the beginning when she's on the run from Ross, and then like it's like that one, the dude who was like giving her all like the IDs and the weapons says like, it's like people that don't have friends like don't call me. So it's like kind of like getting into the mindset like, well, like she does feel alone, and this is after Civil War, but I mean she's always kind of felt like isolated in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought he was Taskmaster at first too. That's who I like. Here's my thing, right? And this was a misdirection. No, this was intentional, right? Why would you put him in a character poster? He's a great actor. He's in Handmaid's Tale. If anyone hasn't watched it, check it out. Dylan hasn't watched it yet. Shame on him. But
fuck you.
Definitely, like I thought he was Taskmaster. I wouldn't have mind, right? And then I was like, oh, he's not Taskmaster. I thought he was like trying to set them up too with the helicopter. I thought he was gonna like plant something there, so I thought he was Taskmaster.
It feels too dorky to be Taskmaster. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Oh, please. that's like you say, like the formulaic thing. Like, the guy
you're trying to do a fucking Mephisto shit. Like trying to.
What if Mephisto was Taskmaster? I don't know. Who knows? That's
why they put the scene with her being so close to him. Like you can see, like he's 6 foot. Like okay, this is obviously Taskmaster because he's 6 foot. Even though
it's a misdirection.
She shrinks to like 5 foot in the movie.
I know. It's like, gosh, I really like that end battle though. Just wanted to mention that I did like the skydiving thing was cool. They did it just right? Because if it was like too long diving down, it would have been awkward. It would have been like that Fast and Furious. See, I'm mentioning Fast and Furious a lot because all those dumb memes, but sorry. But that Fast and Furious thing where like they're in an airplane and the runway just goes on for like 3 miles, right? it's a good thing they didn't do something like that. And how they avoided that was because they switched, to Red Guardian and Yelena, and then they switched to Florence Pugh. So I like that. So that was clever how they kind of elongated that scene. But I really like that. That was probably the most, I guess, impactful experience for me, or something I take away from the movie was like really fun to watch.
I didn't like the part where Yelena, when she's trying to kill Drake off in the helicopter thing, like when she puts the stick down in the turret, I'm like, so it's like, are you trying to like set her up as like a sacrifice or something? Like, cause she didn't need to do that. All she had to do was like fucking plant a bomb in the helicopter and then just escape. I don't know what they were trying to do.
That was like sometimes people, when they direct movies, they, in their mind, they kind of decrypt this meaning, right? And they think that other people in the audience would also do the same, but it's lost in translation. I think that was just to be symbolic of like the struggle that she went through and stuff. And I think that now she finds her family, and now she finds her purpose. And so this is her purpose. This is the best she can do. Perhaps she doesn't really believe in herself. And so here, I'm going to do the sacrifice. And which is funny because Natasha does the sacrifice in Endgame. So as we could see, I'll be glad to see, I call her Tarantula. I'll be glad to see Tarantula become, that Black Widow-esque character, because she tries to make the sacrifice as well. So I think that's what the director was trying to show, but it was lost in translation, as I said before. And yeah, clearly she could have thrown a brick, right? There was like plenty of bricks there. She could have like, hey, yeet, right. And she just throws it out there, and it's like, oh. I think
they were just trying to tease the audience, like, because she has such a good relationship with Yelena, because she's basically like her sister. So it's like, is she gonna die? Is she gonna die? Like, because she's basically like the closest family that Scarlet has. I mean, you messed me up now. I keep calling her Scarlet. Nat has, besides the Avengers.
It could be both. I mean, it could be like
trying to like raise the stakes, I guess. But yeah,
like I'm saying, yeah, it's just like it. I don't know. I did
like every moment with them though together. Like, yeah, it really like it's kind of like T'Challa and Shuri. Like, you can feel that familial bond.
I wanted more. I really wanted more. I wanted
the vest thing. Like, it was so funny, but it was so cheesy, and I liked it because then it explains like how she got it in Infinity War. Again,
she's trying to make something of herself. So I feel like this kind of felt as if this was not so much Black Widow. It is Black Widow's movie, but this is I always mention coming of age stories just because I like that term. But coming of age story for Yelena as well, because this is the first thing she bought was the vest, right? And that's so symbolic to Natasha that she wore it in Infinity War. So she's trying to make something of herself. So that's why I think she was going to do the sacrifice, but that was silly. But yeah, I like that. How do you like Red Guardian's character in general? Because I got a kick out of watching him. He
feels like David Harbour. That that dad that like tries to be like supportive, but he just like messes everything up.
Right.
But he was like super like cold in the beginning, like when he's like shooting the shield agent. I was like, oh fuck. Also, did he ride that plane to Cuba? Because
my father said that. My father
said
that as well.
No. To Cuba, like
no, I don't think so. That'll be funny though. But
right. But yeah, I mean, overall, David Harbour, he always nails it. Whatever character he plays, and he's good because it's a good choice that they picked him for that, because like you can see that in if you watch Stranger Things, like he's obviously that protective father figure, and like those moments he has with Yelena where it's like, trying to bond with her, like after all the shit that they've gone through.
She's the baby of the family too. So
yeah,
like
and I can really like feel his like chemistry with Rachel Weisz too. Like they really feel like, even though they're fake parents, they do feel like they could be like an actual couple.
They're funny. Yeah. Did you like her character? I was shocked when she almost killed the pig. I was like, uh-oh, a lot of people are going to go on Twitter and start. I mean,
Well, it's funny because like when I was rolling the credits, like you just saw like the Animal Humane Society was part of this or some shit. It's like there's going to be like fucking like millennials out there. I'm like, oh, there's like animal abuse in this movie.
That was a cute pig though. I love pigs. So I would have, But did you like her character though?
Yeah, I did. I did fall for the twist when she quote unquote betrayed them at the end, because I really did think like she was, working for Dreykov till the end. Also, I did like that twist when Nat. I feel like Nat's like fucking like signature move is she, whenever like they're in a twist or a bind, she always pulls that fucking like holographic mask on. Like she did the same shit in Winter. I'm telling you, this is a carbon copy of Winter Soldier because she does the same shit every time she's face to face with the villain. She pulls that fucking holographic mask move. But yeah, I did like Melina's character a lot.
What's her? Do you know her moniker in the Marvel comics? Because I forgot. It's not Madam Mask. Madam Mask, I believe, is in.
No, it's Madam B, I think, in the comics. In the red, yeah, I think that's just like her, like her moniker for the Red Room.
So many Madams, because in Agent Carter there was Madam Mask, I believe. But yeah, I mean,
Fontaine is Madam, or no, she's Madam Hydra. So it's fucking too many Madams.
Well, there was a Madam Hydra as well in Agents of Shield, which is basically Jocasta, Ultron's wife, which is weird. If you're into Agents of Shield, but yeah, isn't her thing like just with masks, right?
Probably. Oh yeah, there is a Madam Mask because she was a Iron Man villain too. Yeah,
but that character was an Agent Carter for a while. So yeah. So I know I liked her character. I don't mind her character. She wasn't like I wasn't feeling her at first. Like she's okay. Actually, I liked her more in the beginning. Afterwards, as I said in the last podcast, I wasn't digging her. But she's all right. I think
she's a supporting actress. That's all it is. I mean, like.
Well, yeah, but everybody did a great job. I think the standouts for me really was Red Guardian, Yelena, and obviously Natasha. But for her, I guess she's all right. She's all right.
I kind of want like a moment in like a future Marvel movie, like where Red Guardian gets to meet Captain America, and they just have like an arm wrestling contest. Like,
and we probably will never get that. That's so sad. I don't think they really met, because everyone was joking that they never met.
Steve was frozen on the ice during the Cold War.
Right. So that's the funny thing. But that's sad that now they probably will never meet. I wonder where their family, where the family went to in the moments in Infinity War, and I wonder if they disappeared as well. I would imagine so, because you would think that they would probably do stuff. Like I wonder if Yelena went somewhere, I mean, she dusted off as well, or the blip as they call it. Yeah. So I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder if she somehow ended up in Endgame in the background or some shit. Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, that's weird. How come she didn't show up? That's weird. But well, that's the thing too. They're very secretive. It's not like they're really directly, tied to the Avengers. I don't know.
Actually, it makes it more sad now because if you think about it, like if she got snapped and it just breaks Scarlett's heart more in Endgame when she's trying to hold everything together, because she literally lost everybody. She lost the closest thing she had to a sister.
That's why I think that she got snapped because it doesn't make sense, because you would think, Yelena will hang out like in Avengers headquarters right afterwards. So I think that all of them got snapped.
She was kind of like Tony's Peter in a way.
Yeah. And they wouldn't want to complicate things in the writing because it's like, so where she's been? Oh, she's been in Cabo. She's like doing some construction, whatever. So you wouldn't want to really do that. So I think that, she definitely
she's probably snapped. Trying to rehabilitate all the widows and shit.
Well, that makes sense too. Yeah, that does make sense. So do you think that we'll see more of the widows in the future? Like, because obviously the end credit, I think that's going to tie into the new Hawkeye show coming on Disney Plus soon this year. So I think that's one of the next Disney Plus show.
I don't think we're going to see them. I think this was kind of like their moment, like when Yelena bought the vessels, okay, it's what do we do now? Like now that we're free, we have free will now. We can kind of do whatever we want. We don't have to live this life of, political theater and assassination. So I think Yelena is trying to help them out, give them actual lives. But I think Yelena will still do her thing, and if there's any because I guess we should talk about the end credit scene. Where what's her name, Madam, or her name is Valentine Fontaine, right? She was in
yes, Valentine Fontaine, or something.
She was in Falcon and Winter Soldier,
right?
And she was recruiting a U.S. agent. So she shows up at the end, and that was a weird way that because she came out of nowhere.
It's so funny. Yeah, no.
She just fucking popped that out now, oh shit. But she's with Yelena. Yelena goes to visit Nat's grave after Endgame. And then Valentine is there, and I guess she's working for her because she was because I think she mentioned something like she gives her like assignments or something.
She probably was one of the first people to recruit.
Yeah, probably. So she lets her know that Clint was the one, even though we don't know all this bullshit, but the Clint was
That's
the one
weird. What's her intention for saying that too?
Yeah.
That's such a random thing. Like,
and how would she know that? Because it's not like Clint like told anybody other than like, you know,
right.
Avengers. So it's like, how the fuck does she know that?
Out of everyone, let's just randomly mess with Clint Barton just to have fun, whatever. You know what I mean? That's a very random thing. I wonder what's her intentions. I wonder if she'll show up in Hawkeye. We haven't seen set photos, and there was plenty of set photos.
Wait, is Hawkeye going to be a TV show or a movie? I forgot.
Now, Hawkeye's going to be a miniseries.
Okay. All right.
Everything coming on Disney Plus, you got to consider it as a miniseries, because they're going to directly tie into a movie at some point, possibly in the future. So everything's a miniseries, but they can be redeemed. Not redeemed. They can be renewed for season 2, like Falcon and Winter Soldier. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. Obviously, we won't have the answers until then. But that was such a random thing. I don't
know what's going to happen. I mean, she could possibly show up in the Hawkeye series. We don't know. I mean, why else put it there, you know?
Well, like I said, I really feel like the Yelena is going to be the new Black Widow in a way. Not like, oh, I'm Black Widow. It's just she's going to be Yelena for a while, but her moniker will be probably Tarantula, like something like that. And that's such a cool thing because Black Widow, Tarantula. So I could see that happening. But yeah, because why else? I told you, I really feel like Disney Plus will lead the future for Marvel Studios.
Well, that's why I think they're going to tie it into the series. Because why put Fontaine in the movie if you're not going to tie it back to the TV shows, you know? So it's possible that we might see her. If not Hawkeye, then maybe she'll get like her own show or something.
And Kevin Feige did say that the movies now, they're doing everything differently. That now the movies will always tie into the shows and vice versa.
Thank God, because I'm tired of this fucking, like, you know, when you watch the Defender series, like all you get is like the Battle of New York reference, like every time.
Yeah.
We're already Infinity War and we're still referencing it.
Like, here's to Spider-Man that me and Dylan were talking earlier before about, like, here's to Spider-Man. Hopefully Matt Murdock will show up. There's some rumors and leaked reports of Matt Murdock showing up. So hopefully there's something to ground those characters in the MCU more. I mean,
well,
they're
Punisher
doing it right
was
so far.
Getting his own show or movie, right?
Blade.
No, Punisher.
No.
Weren't there talks like they were going to bring him back? I don't know. It could be speculation.
Probably that's your inside. That's your subconscious telling you, please come back. I really like, my thing is, again,
I feel like Palpatine, like, use my content. I beg of you.
They should. Yeah. Kevin, listen to us. Right. Yeah, no, they should definitely. I don't know how you would do a Punisher movie because it would have to be rated R. You can't give me that bullshit of Expendables 3 with no blood, whatever. I mean, it has to be rated R for Punisher, but I don't know. Going back to Disney Plus, like their strategy, I'm excited for it. They're finally doing it the right way. And here's the thing, they have great numbers for each show. Like each time they release something, WandaVision was from low, and then now from Loki, it's like super high. Just so many people are watching it. And that's why I think that the price is not bad. You know, like paying monthly, it isn't bad, right? So I understand if you're going to pay $30 for a movie that you will keep as long as you have Disney Plus, right? So I understand that. So that's why I think that it's more easier for them to tie everything. Like they're going to probably get so many subscribers like Netflix at one point, you know what I mean? And there's so much content now coming this year for Marvel and for Disney Plus. It's like, holy hell. It's like,
not only that, they own like Star Wars too. So it's like, they're going to get fucking banked by the end of the year. So it's
yeah. And then plus with Pixar movies being there, you know, it's just like, it's great for the kids just to watch so many Pixar films, and especially you got the new Monsters show coming out. So, introduce like newer generations to Monsters Inc. So
a great variety of content.
Oh yeah. Do you have any final thoughts?
It just feels weird not seeing Stan Lee in the movie.
And we will never see a reference to him again. Apparently there's no one's allowed to ever show a cameo or something to pay respects. Yeah.
If he was in this movie, do you think he'd play like a fucking like Russian general or something?
He was in this movie? Probably so. Yeah, I would guess. It'll be so weird to see him in this movie. This movie was like so dark. Like even with the humor, it was just like really
he's like
black.
A KGB officer. He's like interrogating this guy in the background.
But he doesn't have an accent. He's just
he's like pulling nails out of this guy.
Probably. I out of everything, I probably, what if he's like the one that kidnapped like the two, Natasha and like
No, he's like this like Russian mobster in a tracksuit and shit.
Oh my god! You know where he would end up though? For real, you know what would be the best part? Like for him to end up when Red Guardian's in jail. I could so imagine him like sitting there and like probably saying so. Like that's one of the that's probably like what would happen. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Oh man. Yeah, man. It's like I said, it's great going back and watching the movie again in the theater. It feels like I'm out of the snap now. Like
that's so funny. Yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad you joined it. I mean, I don't know, for Shang-Chi, I guess I would have no choice because Shang-Chi will premiere first. If everyone doesn't know yet, Shang-Chi will premiere first in theaters for 45 days and then it'll end up in Disney Plus.
Oh, really?
For premium
45
access.
days? Damn.
Yeah. So 45 days in theaters. Plenty of spoilers ahead. Probably a lot of people are going to throw a lot of things out there, so I probably will have to end up in the theater.
Well, luckily I'll be there to watch it, so we'll get plenty of cover. I'll just bootleg it in the movie so we can watch it.
What was the Tagalog? It's in a Tagalog subtitles. What was it?
Tagalog subtitles.
Tagalog, yeah.
Chinese subtitles in the back. You just see the guy stand up in the movie.
Hey, it's worth it if you're not getting Corona. Right. So.
I'm sure there will be like bootleggers out there in China, like trying to sell the movie.
If you got one of those, what was it?
CDs and shit.
Jailbroken Fire Sticks. Right. A lot of people are using those now, so I don't know.
Like a scratched up CD and shit. You gotta like play in your Blu-ray player.
Damn. It's worth it.
It's like black. It's like the screen goes black for like the most important parts of the movie.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. That's to avoid copyright out of all things. It's like, and then they put like the music high whenever there's music there in the background. They just put like some random song.
There's like a baby crying in the background or something.
Yeah, I know. Some guy say, all right, honey, I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. Let's go. I got work tomorrow.
Or it's like on that weird angle. Like when you watch like a bootleg movie, it's so off. It's like,
oh my gosh.
It's uncomfortable to watch.
I know when they're recording it, but some people they like, I think they got tripods and shit like that because they're like trying to do the setup. They probably got lighting for some reason.
Well, I guess they're trying to be like conspicuous about it, not let people see that they're filming it. So they got to put it on a weird angle.
That's so stupid. But like those real steady ass cameras, like how do you fit a tripod in the theater? And I can't sneak a bottle of Coca-Cola.
They got a fucking GoPro in their pocket.
That would be the worst, but it's like 480p.
Right.
That would be the worst.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Some people will watch it though. Some people would like
either that or you pay fucking $30 on Disney.
I'll pay $30. I'm like, my standards are high for HD, so 4K. So, but yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's all the time we have for today, guys, on this episode. So I want to thank all our listeners for supporting our channel. If you like this discussion and you want to hear more topics like these, please be sure to like this and follow us on whatever platform you're listening to. And please be sure to follow us on our social media accounts in the description. Thanks for having lunch with us, guys.
Thank you, guys. See you next video.